Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aaron's
Hey.
Reading Room. Welcome back to the book club. It's Alicia and I today. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on the replay, we are talking about The Witching Hour by Anne Rice. This is the first book in the Mayfair Witches series, which is having a television show adaptation coming out in January, is when it's going to start broadcasting,
Yeah, the
I
8th.
believe. But we probably won't be able to finish watching it until sometime, like probably end of February, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe into
Yeah.
March. But uh, yeah, well, I'll say this. I hope the showrunners do the exact same thing they did with the Interview with the Vampire show, which they turned a turd into gold. So
Oh, I do have some curiosities about how they're going to fix some things because Michael's a large character in the book.
mm-hmm.
Michael
Yeah.
isn't even in the show. There's no
Oh,
Michael.
really? I wonder if they're going to start it like at the history or something.
Something, or if they're going to combine two characters together and then have one character.
Oh, like if they make Aaron and Michael the same character?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because there's no Michael. I looked at the character list and
Huh.
everything, nothing.
Okay. I mean, I guess that could work. And I mean that actually might work because it just like keeps the Telemasca like that much more involved
Yeah.
in with what's going on. Needless to say, I did not enjoy this book.
We hated it.
I hated it.
Oh my god.
Oh man, this book was way too long.
The first couple
Um,
chapters were interesting. I was
they
like, the
were,
first five
yeah.
or six chapters, I was like, okay, I'm in. And then it just went into like diatribes about history for 400 freaking pages.
Yeah. I mean, uh, whenever it'd be like the history on the Mayfair witches section, like eventually just like, oh no, I'm doing this. Hey, Cache, thanks for stopping in. Always good to see you.
She said she wanted to see me rant because she's never seen me rant before. So,
Hey, reading room, always good to have you here. Thanks for stopping by.
uh, it was so
Yeah, this was, you know what this reminded me of at the end is you ever start those like internet erotica stories that are like chapter
yeah,
a week type
yeah,
things that just turn into these monstrosities?
yeah. That are
That's what this
ridiculous.
felt like.
Yeah,
Except no one told you what you were getting into. You know,
exactly.
like you were tricked.
That's the perfect way to put it. Like it's overwritten, like a Charles Dickens who was published weekly. Like it was
Okay.
overwritten. Like
Yeah.
it was just like you could tell she really likes history because that's what she wanted you to focus on. And I'm just like, I don't care. Take me back to Rowan and Michael or whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I cared about was Rowan and Michael, and I was curious about Lasher. Um, and that was it. Like we could have gotten just like a little bit of the history.
There could have
Like,
been 3 books in that one book alone.
yeah.
If she wanted to do a history book, which would have been fine, make that book number 2.
Or
Like
just make it like a compendia. Is that what they
or a
call it? When it's
novella
like
or
a
something. Or
side side book, that goes along with it. Oh
yeah.
man.
But
Yeah.
15 was the worst.
Hey
Oh
Amber.
my god.
Yes, it's a trap. Yeah,
It's
yeah. Amber's not
awful.
here because she was the smart one and she DNF'd it quite early on.
I just didn't want to leave you alone because I knew you were going to finish it. I was like, someone has to.
I
Someone has
almost didn't.
I was this
Did,
close. I was like,
honestly.
Aaron, don't hate me, but I was this close. After chapter 15, I was nauseous.
It was like I had the speed turned up so much
I
on
had it at
this.
like 2.8.
Yeah, and I was like 10 hours left at speed up time, but then you go back and look at like actual time. It's like we're
I
only
know.
we're only halfway through this. Like what the hell what else are they going to talk about?
I
Because
just,
even when all the history was done and Michael and Rowan were in New Orleans at the house, it became like a renovation show of
yeah,
like,
it
no,
was like
no, we're going to talk
HGTV.
about
I was like, wait a second. I could watch this on TV and have a better time.
yeah. There could have been no books in that one book. Yeah. It was Yeah, it's interesting. So I can't remember who, if this was Amber, if this was you, Alicia, but so the unabridged audiobook, 50 hours.
Yeah,
Abridged audiobook, 3
3.
hours.
I kind of wish I read that one.
Yeah, I would have just gone for the abridged version
I
because
don't do
I'm
abridged usually, but phew.
yeah, but this one you can read. No one needs my permission, but you have my permission to read the abridged
Like,
version.
just I don't know why does she constantly. I don't know if we can say this on YouTube. The interfamily mingling, like she brings it up constantly. I'm like, what is
Yeah,
your obsession with this? I've read 3 books by you, and you've brought it up in some fashion with like fathers and daughters or uncles and daughters, and I don't. Oh,
yeah.
ugh.
The romantic pairings were questionable, and yeah, you wonder about her. What's going on in Anne Rice's head?
Right. Like, and then I watched reviews after I finished it, like to be
Uh-huh.
like someone else seeing what I'm seeing. No one else brought it up. I'm like, how?
Yeah,
I
that
watched like 10 YouTube reviews and nobody else brought that specific thing up. And I'm like, it's so big in the book. How the hell do you not bring it up?
yeah, the only things I had only heard good things about
Yeah,
this,
me
but people
too.
were just like, "Oh yeah, no, the Witching Hour, the Wayfair Witches books, those are the good Anne Rice books."
That's what I was told. It's her
Oh,
best
really?
work. That's what I was told.
Yeah, yeah. The she has some weird obsessions.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't carry the
Yeah.
full weight of the
And
books.
I kind of want a family tree to like explain everything. Like the Lasher is the great grandfather, uncle, brother, cousin, blah 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 of so and so and so and like I needed it like written out. I was like who's who? I'm confused.
Right. I'm sure there's a family tree out there somewhere that fans put together. Uh,
Probably. And I'm just
like,
like that's so gross.
but yeah, no, but there was that one guy who would like fathered like 3 generations of
Yeah.
offspring. Or
And then slept with his niece. I
yeah,
was like, mm.
this some like couldn't there just be more witch families out there? And like Lasher brought the witch families together to do
Right.
the like
Like
selective
they all
breeding
agreed to be part
instead
of the
of
coven and they took the last name.
yeah, like instead of just the same family.
Simple. It's just ugh.
Yeah.
And then you bring Michael into it for what?
Uh,
What was his purpose?
right. That like I, I don't
I was
know.
like the one where I finished the book and I'm like, but what? We followed him for the majority of the book, but
Hmm.
why? Like,
Yeah, because he was like he had magic hands. So
yeah,
he was like,
I was expecting them to be like, oh yeah, he's your like long lost brother or something because he had like magic.
yeah,
And
well, I mean, we haven't gotten further into the books, but apparently I wouldn't be surprised if Michael's part of the family tree somewhere
well,
along the
yeah,
line there.
Michael continues the grossness in the
Yeah.
into the sequels that I read spoiler reviews and he continues the gross family traits.
Yeah. This is very true, Amber. It's 5 people in the middle of an etch a sketch.
Like just it literally is feels like it's one branch. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm just like this isn't even a tree, it's just one branch.
Right.
Ew.
Yeah, there were some, it's interesting because she went off about stem cell research, which she didn't call out exactly as stem cell research. She called it, what did she?
I forget what she called it. She called it something really weird.
Yeah, but she was insinuating that like this doctor was taking newborn babies and like Frankenstein, like
Yeah.
Dr. Frankensteining them and like keeping
Ugh.
their parts alive and stuff. It's just like, well, that's a real misinterpretation of the
Or
science.
I was wondering if she was trying to connect it to the Lasher character because he needed to be reborn.
Okay, yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I took it, but I could be wrong.
Hmm.
But it's just all creepy. And I'm like,
Hmm. Yeah, and for some reason, I remembered that she went on this big rant of like she obviously hates California. Anne
Yes,
Rice
she does.
hates California.
I don't know why. Someone in California did her wrong.
Right. She had to
Like,
do a book signing
she
there, and it
doesn't
was
like it.
traumatic.
Yeah. I was just like, it's a lot.
Oh man. And she has an obsession with BIPOC servants. Like
Yes. And
she
calling
needs
them
like
like uncomfortable names. I'm just sitting there going, this was 1990. This was not okay in 1990. Why?
mhm.
Like,
Yeah, and just like bringing them like you couldn't. I mean, these weren't even important characters, but she had
no.
to bring up. Oh yeah, but they were not white, and
Yeah.
they had a
She
servant
did the
role.
same thing in Interview with a Vampire with all like the
Yeah.
boy servants that were
Hmm.
non BIPOC. Like,
Yeah,
ugh.
and she also threw in this thing at one point about how this one family had house help, but they were all Irish, and they
Right.
weren't as good as the BIPOC.
I highlighted that. I was like, what? Does she not like Irish people too?
And we're not laughing because we find any of this funny. We're
Oh,
laughing because it makes
this
us
is
so
disturbing.
uncomfortable.
Like,
Oh goodness. California
like
probably
I
hates
know
Anne
times
Rice.
have changed, but like stuff was still not okay in 1990. How did this get by a couple editors? Is my question.
Right. I think it's just like readerships were so limited then. Like not as many people were reading. And like I would assume that the people that did read didn't
Care.
it didn't bother them.
Yeah. I just don't understand how the family workings didn't bother people even back then. Because that's just gross no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, that's really, really weird. Um,
And I don't know if this was her take on like talking shit on religion.
but like there were some strangely like religious messages
Right.
like
That's why
along
I
the
was so
way. So
confused. I'm like,
it's super confusing.
you're saying anti-religion, and other parts don't. You're saying go to church.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, like well, and the whole Telemasca, it's this organization of like researchers that are
That
like
was the part I was interested
not
in.
religious, but
Yeah.
like she was then like calling them religious at the end. Like Michael was getting all, or no, was it Rowan that was getting all mad at him? It was like, no, you guys are a bunch of monks or something.
Yeah.
Or,
And I
why
was
is
just like,
that?
why?
I I am excited. I'm eager to see what the show
I
brings
really want to see the show.
because if they can fix this thing, man, like
And they got approval from her. So whatever they fixed, because they did the pre-filming stuff before she passed.
oh, did they? Okay.
So they got her approval for everything. So whatever they
Hmm.
fixed, she was okay with.
Okay. Okay. Well, and her son is like part of the show running team,
Yeah.
right? I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
It,
We'll see
yeah.
how it turns out.
I'm just like,
Uh, yeah. And how
I'm
about
disappointed. I wanted to like it so much, and I
I
just
did too. I did too. I was giving it such a chance at the beginning. I was giving it so much grace. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's keeping my attention. Like, it's
chapter
okay if it's
15
50
ruined
hours.
it. Chapter 15 ruined everything.
My friend begged me to read this series. I'm gonna ask him if he hates me. Yeah.
I told my mom what happened in chapter 15 because I was so bothered. She was like, "Oh my god, ew, that's gross." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
hi,
Hey, Bree.
please,
Good to
please
see
don't
you.
read this. I know you wanted to. Don't, please,
Don't. Or just
don't, don't.
or read the abridged version if you have to.
I love you too much to put you through this."
Unsatisfying ending too. Like,
And then the ending was so like, eh. I'm like, you do
uh-huh.
all that for the ending that we got, the where she runs off with the ghost lasher, whatever the hell he was.
Right. Yeah. It's like you get all this buildup of like he's this evil thing that we've got to deal with. And then at the end, she's just like, Oh, I think I love him actually. Let's run off into the sunset.
He must have been good at something because he got through a bunch of women,
Well,
so he must have been good at something.
well, he's got a great eggplant because she could not stop
Wait,
talking about it.
I'm just
She
like, oh
could
my
not stop
god,
writing about it.
oh my god. I just don't understand how, like, knowing that the one girl knew that he was her grandfather, and I don't usually hate books. I hated this. By like by the end of it, I hated it so much.
Yeah, I was just so. I mean, I sent that meme of Frodo after he destroys the ring,
Yeah,
and it says it's done. Like
that
I've
was perfect.
never actually felt that way after reading a book.
It was an
To be like,
accomplishment.
yeah.
If I can read this, I can read freaking Stormlight Archive, for God's sakes.
What's that one?
The Rhythm of War, Brandon Sanderson stuff.
Oh, Sanderson.
Yeah.
I've never dove into Sanderson.
I'm not a
Like,
huge fan of Mistborn, so I'm giving his other series a shot.
okay. I gave it 2 hours and I knew I couldn't continue. So glad I dipped out. Yes, you saved yourself, Amber.
My poor friend Roger, I was sending him like voice messages for days. I'm like, I hate this book so much. Like, it was just going off in voice messages. He's like, I need to see this. He's at work still, but he's like, I need to see this live show. I'm like, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, it was. I
It
don't
was
know
a
how
lot.
many ways I can say it. It just wasn't good.
And I don't know if you were curious about this. How was the one bitchy character, like the aunt or whatever? I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, Carlotta.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
How was she able to like not fall prey
Well,
to it?
so she wasn't she wasn't the one that Lasher chose to attach to, but she
That's
was a
what I thought.
powerful enough witch. I guess
Okay.
like that's what I got from it. Um, but I just didn't care. Like there's just
By page 400, I was like, okay, can we get to the point, please?
so so much of this. I just listen and it'd be like, I don't care.
And
I don't care. So why? Why are we being put through this?
then I thought they were going to kill Michael because they put him in the Lasher drowned him in the pool or some shit.
Yeah.
So I thought
Uh-huh.
he was going to be like dead, and then all of a sudden he's
Hmm.
not. I'm like, but how? Like, I just don't. And nothing was explained. And
No.
then the whole
No.
second book, spoilers, Rowan's in a coma
Okay, so
of the
Lasher
second
can
book.
just
So
essay her
nothing
all
is
he
about
wants.
Rowan at all in the second book.
Well, in the second book's called Lasher, right?
Yeah.
So well, it's apparently we're gonna try and. This is what I think happened. Anne was originally wrote a villain into this story, but she spent so much time writing this story and investing thought and energy into it that she fell in love with Lasher. It was like, well, I don't really want to make him a bad guy, and like then yeah, that's my theory. I don't know though.
Yeah, the same thing with Lestat. I think she fell in love with the character of Lestat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is this mug. This was my grandfather's favorite mug. It
Ooh,
just has a cool painting
beautiful.
on it, so it makes a good background piece. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh
This book was
yeah. I
I feel like I needed like to like decompress my brain after reading it. I was like, I can't.
yeah. So Amber and I are doing the Read Genji thing and
Yeah,
like reading
I
long
have it on my wish
sections.
list. I haven't bought it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, reading long sections of that is usually
Uh-huh.
something I don't particularly look forward to, but I took a break from the witching hour and I was like, you know what? I could read some Genji. I could read 35 pages of Genji. That sounds okay.
I'm actually surprised that it was written by a woman. It's like it's very male gazy. The
Oh
Genji
yeah, very male gazy. But I think that was my theory is that was necessary.
for the time period.
Like yeah, right. It's me at the very beginning. Yeah, okay, we know, Amber. You were the smart one. We get
I
it.
know, we suffered. We suffered. We were the only ones that suffered. Everybody else dipped out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just she writes. The one thing I'll give her, she writes atmosphere very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like she writes atmosphere really well. It's all the other stuff though that's the problem.
Yeah, yeah, and it was really like the point she lost me at is when it went back in time and it had that Telemasca investigator that saved, I can't remember, he couldn't save the
Oh, the
mother that was
girl that he
burned
fell in
at
love
the stake,
with.
but he saved her 12-year-old daughter and then is just like lusting after.
And then constantly talking about her boobs. And I'm like, can we not? Like, I'm not even a parent. Can we not? Like, I don't even want to think of like how awful that was for you to read being a parent. I'm just like, can we
Yeah,
not?
of a 12-year-old. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no, can we not? Like, and then she continues it. Like I told you in the second book, Michael sleeps with his niece. I'm like, why? Why? Like, and that's the other thing that bothered me: the over sexualization of little kids.
Mm-hmm.
Little kid, like that's a problem
Yeah.
in society anyway. But like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
ah,
make it make sense. It doesn't, but
that's the
actually,
thing. Like, it just seems like like if you took all the Scrabble pieces and just dumped it out on the table, and that's it.
uh,
Because nothing makes sense.
this is yeah. It's such a meandering story. Like,
There's no reason for it to be over almost 1,000 pages.
uh, right, and it's like if she had just stuck with the Michael and Rowan story, it would have been
That
like
was where I was interested.
300 pages or
Yeah,
something, maybe. And she was like, no, that's too short. That's too short. Let's.
it's a no filter for her because everything's so freaking long.
Oh man. Time travel or dual timeline. I'm usually super into that.
I love dual timeline if it's done right.
If it's done right, yeah.
But
I
this
don't know.
didn't feel like dual timeline. It was like 400 pages of one timeline. Then flipping back to, I think it was set in 1989 was present day
Uh-huh.
or something like that. And like I was like, but because then she was like saying how the one sister was shot in the head. Like I was so confused at the party, and I'm like, wait,
Uh-huh.
which I thought because half my head was going like, which one are we talking about? Because it was all like,
Right. It was pretty jumbled. Like we'd get people yeah, we'd get people talking about the history and then we'd get the actual history, but then we'd get people talking to each other about the history again later. So it's I feel like some of the history we got 3 or 4 times
I don't mind
regurgitated
history if
extra.
it's like secondhand. Like I didn't mind the parts where it was like, oh, I wonder if it's like the family curse, and it's like all the old ladies sitting having a cup of tea. That I don't
Right.
mind. But like
Yeah.
the other stuff, I was like, okay, but you just had 400 pages of explaining this. Why are we doing this again?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So we
Oh,
get
so
like, yeah,
bad.
so many pages of Michael literally reading a history file. And
She
then we'd
should have
like
just scanned the pages in. She didn't even have to type anything.
when
Oh,
she and it'd come back to present time just for a quick exchange between Michael and Aaron about how it's like, oh wait, no, I have
or
these
Michael
questions.
and Rowan would bang, and then it would go back to like
Right? Yeah,
case file number 9, and you're just like, wait, well, what?
I know. Well, and Aaron was just like, no, read the file, Michael, read the file. And I'm like, no, Aaron, just tell him. Just tell him, like, you're giving us Aaron's a bad name by making him read this tripe.
And I still don't understand why he had like magic telepathic hands. It never was explained.
Yeah, I mean, was that even necessary for the story? I feel like it was all it really did was got them together. Like
Yeah,
that was it. He
and
wanted
he
to
was
touch
like
the boat.
mumbling Lasher when they met when
Hmm.
he fell overboard or however whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
I'd say
never hated a book so much in my life. I've never. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, like
And
only
I'll
because this
like
was my own book club and I
okay? This is
suggested the
bad.
book. Did I finish it? But I'm done with Anne Rice.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't need to pick up
Everything's
another one
going
of
in
her
the donate
books.
pile.
If Anne Rice is your thing, I'm not taking a shot at you. I'm just not. I'm not her reader.
I can see why she was so big. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't understand how people didn't have problems with some of the stuff even back then.
Yeah, it is. It's confusing, and even like today, people talking about it in reviews and stuff, not even
Acting
bringing
like
it
it's
up. It's like, oh,
normal.
spoilers! You don't want to know about who does who.
And the one guy, I'll have to send you the videos because they're hysterical. He was saying how great the witching hour is, okay? How fantastic, how world building, how all this stuff. And then he goes, well, the second one's really bad because they over sexualize a 12-year-old in the second one. You notice that in the second one, not in the first one?
I did that in this one.
I'll have to send them to you because they're like 20 minutes a piece, but they're hysterical. I'm just like, how is
Yeah. Oh, it just was not a
it
fun
made
read.
me feel
We're
dumb. I
obviously
was like,
traumatized.
yeah, I was traumatized and I felt like, what did I just read?
Yeah.
I
I know I had it on nearly 3 times speed, but did I
had it on
really
2.8 speed. Like, come on. Like, what did I just read?
I really spent 30 hours of my life listening to this?
That I can't get back.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, it was a lot. It was a journey.
I feel like most Ambers I encounter in fictions. Isn't that the worst? I'm unhauling all Anne
Oh,
Rice
me
books.
too. Trust me, they're in a pile over there. Over there.
Well, was there anything else? I feel like
No.
close to 30
Unless you
minutes of
want to like
ranting on this book
go on
is
a rant for 20 more minutes about how horrible this was.
Oh goodness. Well, I like your background. It's a very nice tree you have up.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
The lights are going out because I need to put batteries in them.
No. At least the whole string doesn't go out when just one of the bulb goes out these days.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
There's one section that went out. I was like, darn it.
Yeah. Oh, let's see.
So we definitely have to pick a shorter one.
What's that?
For next month. For next month, shorter for sure.
Yes, shorter, definitely.
Please.
Definitely shorter. Yeah. I think I don't pick up a tome very often. So yeah, not picking up another one for a while.
And I'm in the middle of one right now.
Oh, no. Well, though I guess this
hours.
book club this year did 3 tomes.
Yeah. And that 7 Eves could have counted for 3 different books.
Right.
Like,
oh goodness. So let's see. What was it? You had a New Year's book or something?
this time next year.
This time next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
I forget who the author is. Off the top of my head.
Let's see. It's in the box.
It's about 2 people that are the first 2 babies born on New Year's, and then they meet up every year on New Year's to celebrate their birthdays.
Oh wow. Sophie Cosins.
I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that one. We'll figure out a time next month to do a live show on that one. But yeah, Wishing Hour by Anne Rice.
It was an experience.
50 hours of
that I never want to have again.
A very close family tree. It's not even a tree, it's a branch. Family branch. So all right. I am working on getting lives set up for the next year, so I don't have any to announce right now. But yeah, that was it. Well, thank you for trudging through this one with me, Alicia. I appreciate it.
We we
I'm
would
sorry.
mutually complain to each other about how bad it was. So
Yes,
we were okay.
We'll always have this experience to trauma bond over.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching on the replay. Thanks for commenting, everyone. Take what you will from this. We are just two people sharing an opinion on this book. So we will see you in the next video, guys. Take care.